Welcome to the New World Workforce, where we examine the latest trends having an impact on the way we earn our money and live our lives. You can find us on social media on the Houston Community College District Facebook page and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCC TV. You can also download an audio version of our shows for your listening pleasure at hccs.edu/podcast. That's hccs.edu/podcast. You know, in the wake of Hurricanes Helene and Milton, we've been hearing a lot about resiliency. And one of the vital parts of this is the emergency services, including 911. On today's show, we're going to look at the work of dispatchers and seeing how HCC helps meet the needs of communities both near and far. Joining us today first is Jessica Snead, lead instructor for HCC's Public Safety Telecommunicator program. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, first off, this is great because I didn't even know that we had a program. Tell us a little about the role of the dispatcher.
Well, the role of the dispatcher in emergency services, public safety, I'd like to think that we are the most important. I'm not biased because I'm still a dispatcher, but we are the heart and brains of emergency services. We take the first calls requesting assistance. We send these calls out to our first responders, whether it's police, fire, or our medics, so that they can respond to provide the assistance that's needed for the community. Without us, literally, there's no way that these responders will be able to get to their calls because a lot of these responders are out on the streets and not behind the phones. And so we take up that position and role.
Great. Now, does a dispatcher's role vary from location to location, or is it the same universally?
So as a whole, dispatch is universal. Dispatch consists of most of the same duties: call taking, issuing calls calls to our first responders for a service. And there are other behind the scene things that I think my Miss Mia, who's coming up later, will be discussing. But depending on the agency you go will depend on the responsibility you have. There are some agencies where maybe your only role will be to take all the incoming 911 calls. There are some agencies where your role will be to dispatch these calls and send them to your first responders, whether it's fire, police, or the medics. And then there are some agencies where you're going to do everything. It generally depends on the size of the agency and how they've got their roles split up. But universally, you are going to be doing everything, and you should know how to do everything.
Okay. So is this really a complicated job? I mean, obviously, I guess the general consensus is all y'all do is talk on the phone, but obviously there's a lot of other things that you guys do.
Personally, for me, it was pretty simple to transition to. But for somebody that's not familiar with the job, who just sees it on TV and thinks that we just answer the phone, because we do get that a lot. It's a lot more than just that. Our students come to the class and we generally ask them on the first day, how did you get into 911? Or what do you think 911 dispatchers do? And a lot of times it's, we answer our 911 calls. Yes, we do answer the 911 calls. We put that information into databases. We disseminate based off priority on what calls are the most important. And you have to be able to know that information so we know who needs a response first, again, whether it's medical, fire, or police responses. A police dispatcher has duties that are involved with those driver's licenses, warrants, missing persons. Every missing persons report is entered into the national database by a dispatcher. When you have stolen items from maybe a house break-in, those items that can be reported stolen, those are entered by your dispatchers. Warrants are entered by your dispatchers. When there's a traffic stop and your police officers are in the patrol car and you're wondering, what are they doing? Your dispatcher is behind the scenes running that license plate and that driver's license. So we have a multitude of duties that a lot of people don't know because we're not really represented in the media or in places where people would just be able to see what we do. So we're definitely not just answering phone calls.
Okay. Now, clearly, this is a communications job. And I know with all communications jobs and equipment, there comes a level of responsibility in some aspect. Do dispatchers have to pass the standardized test to work in Texas?
Yes, they do. For the state of Texas, dispatchers, we are licensed under the Texas Commission of Law Enforcement, similar to your police officers. So how they get into the police academy is exactly how our students get into our academies. They go through a extensive enrollment period to where they have to meet state standards, and that would include a psychological exam, fingerprints, a background, and a physical and drug screening, just like your officer. Because in hindsight, I feel like dispatchers are officers and medics and firefighters just behind the scene because we know just as much. We're just not physically at those scenes. And then they have to take a state licensing course. It's the T Code 1080. So we prepare them in our academy to be able to pass that state exam.
Great. Now, how does HCC's program benefit the students and the agencies that will eventually hire them?
So for our students, when speaking to a lot of these agencies in the area, one of the biggest problems all agencies have is manpower. A lot of these agencies, most of these agencies are short, not just one or two dispatchers, but sometimes 10, 9, 15. We have a high turnaround rate. And one of the reasons is you don't have to have a formal training to be a dispatcher. You just have to meet state requirements. And for dispatchers, generally that's 18 years of age, U.S. citizen, high school diploma, and no felonies, right? So they go into these jobs because they're basic entry-level jobs, and they go in expecting one thing, and then once they begin their training, it's not what they expected, or something may happen so where they didn't realize that they would have to take particular type of calls, or maybe they thought it was just answering phone calls, and then the additional duties that we have, they weren't ready for. So the benefit to students who do come to our academy is a foundation. We teach them how to answer calls. We teach them how to talk on the radio. We talk to them about scenarios that happen with 911 based off the curriculum that we have from the state. We do crisis communication. We talk about mental illnesses. We talk about, stress awareness, how to talk to difficult callers. So everything that we do as dispatchers, we relay that information to our students to give them that foundation of what the job is. And then we transition over to the state licensing exam. So where they are able to start retrieving the information needed to pass that exam. That way, when they go to their agencies, they know what to expect at the job. They know that, okay, if they get this particular type of call, we've probably gave them a scenario that they had to work through with that same topic. So they have that foundation. And then the benefit for agencies is they get students who are aware of what's going on. They're not green students. They're students that know what 911 is, know what the training process is, and they probably they'll transition a lot better than someone who knows nothing about 911.
Great. And we have about 20 seconds, Jessica. Real quick, what are some of the agencies that hire from your classes?
So right now, we just had Metro Police come in today to talk to our students. We've had Jersey Village come in, Fort Bend County, Houston Police Department, Harris County. We'll have the Harris County Toll Road Authority here soon. Just any agencies that I can kind of reach out to and get a hold of somebody so we can talk about what our program is. And if they're hiring, try to get them in to talk to our students to be able to get the students hired upon graduation.
That is absolutely awesome. Her name is Jessica Snead, lead instructor of our public safety telecommunicator program. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And come back when you graduate classes. Come back. We'd love to have you.
November 22nd.
Sounds good. Thank you again, Jessica. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll talk with one of our 911 dispatch instructors. Stay tuned.
When the last bell rings, don't stress about what comes next. At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. From healthcare to tech, or business to the arts. Open the door to HCC Real World Education, where passions become careers. Find more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
It's hard to imagine that this powerful, beautiful animal needs our help. But they are being killed for their skin and bones, and their homes are being destroyed. Tigers are at the heart of so many delicate ecosystems. When you protect a tiger, you also protect thousands of species and people that rely on the same habitat. Learn how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to New World Workforce. We're talking about public safety telecommunicators or 911 dispatchers. We're joined by Mia Broussard, an adjunct instructor in HCC's program. How are you doing today, Mia?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Now, give me your take on why 911 dispatchers are so important.
911 dispatchers are important because we are the primary link for the public and for our emergency services. We are actually the backbone of emergency services and also known as unsung heroes. We do a lot of things behind the scene and often go unrecognized.
Great. Now, what is the market like for 911 dispatchers? I understand, you guys are you have your instructors, you have basically classes that you teach, but basically, what's the market like?
Right now, the market is we have a shortage. So we have a high turnover rate. There is definitely a need. So we've been trying with the class, we've been trying to get out there. We've been trying to go to like colleges and high schools, trying to, make people aware. Because like y'all stated earlier, some people think we just answer the phones, and we do way more than just answer the phones. Before reclassification years ago, we were classified as just clerical workers, and we know that we do way more than clerical workers.
Now, Jessica talked to me about a high turnover rate. Why is there a high turnover rate with 911 dispatchers?
Like she stated earlier, people think this is what they want to do, but when they get in there and they start getting these type of calls,
good Lord!
Yeah, they're not ready, even though we go through extensive training. Some of them are just not able, to handle it. We don't really have too much flexibility. We do work shift 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So it's not really too much flexibility. People don't, really have time to do stuff on holidays and with their family. So it's a high turnover rate. So.
Wow. Now, I imagine this can be an incredibly stressful job depending on the calls that you take, because people call you in traumatic situations at times. Tell us about some of the challenges of the job.
Yeah, like I said, we're behind the scenes, so we don't get a chance to interact with the callers physically. But when they call, we have to deal with people that are frantic, panic, yelling, screaming in our ears. But we just have to remain calm and get the necessary information that we need, in order to keep them safe and to keep our officers safe when we dispatch them out to the calls for service. So it can be challenging, but we always, like I say, have to remain calm and be prepared, because we never know what's going to be on that other line when we answer. We take thousands of calls. Every call is different. No one call is the same.
Mia, obviously, to handle something like that, it takes a certain type of person with a certain type of disposition. Talk to me about the type of people that thrive and do well as 911 dispatchers.
Again, like I said, we go through extensive training. You just have to be mentally prepared, number one, to deal with these type of calls. You have to be able to multitask, like I say, remain calm, and like I say, we're there to help the people, help our community. So as long as you're, prepared and a people person, it's possible. It can be done.
Unsung heroes. Now, what are some of the joys of the job?
I enjoy it. I've been doing it. It'll be 14 years in January.
What do you like about it?
I enjoy helping people. So I enjoy helping our community, making sure our officers are safe. I enjoy multitasking. It just keeps me busy, makes the day go by pretty fast. But I just enjoy it. It's challenging, but it's also rewarding as well. Because obviously I wouldn't still be there 14 years later, but
It's a lot. I worked network television for many, many years, and not having days off and having to work holidays, that wears on you. You
yeah.
don't
And
get time with your family.
yeah, it's a lot, and it's not for everyone.
Mhm.
But like I said, obviously, if you enjoy helping people,
Mhm.
it's a great benefit.
hmm Now, what is some of the necessary training that you need to be an effective 911 dispatcher? Because obviously everyone can't do it.
Right, exactly. Training, you have to know your area. So we train on geography. We have to learn lots of maps. We have to learn key maps. You have to learn typing so you can be able to get this information to the system quickly and accurately. Multitasking, we do multiple things at one time. We answer the phone, talk on the radio. We do a lot. So it's like I say, it's not for everyone, but it's a lot.
So you guys do typing course? Do you guys do like typing courses as well? Because I'm thinking, if you're dispatching and you're listening to information, you have to be able to obviously type it at a very highly. You have to do it quick. So is that something that you guys do? Because I'm a hunting pecker. I don't know if I could do that.
You have to do it quick, and then you have to get that information in the system accurately. Like say, we can't make any errors because every second counts.
Okay. Now, what advice would you give to people considering this particular career?
Advice. Like I say, there is a shortage and there is a need. So we're looking for dispatchers, but we want it to be something that they enjoy doing. Don't just come for the money or the benefits. Come because you enjoy helping the community, and we want to, make sure, again, our community is safe and that we get our officers back home safe to their family at the end of the day.
Okay. And obviously, we've discussed this before, that there's a certain type of person that you guys look for. What are some of the agencies? I know I asked Jessica this as well. What are some of the agencies? I know that that you guys are teaching it. And, I know a lot of the schools that we have here at HCC do a great job of soliciting vendors to hire students and things like that. Who are some of the people that you guys reach out to?
But currently, I work for Harris County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
So we're currently hiring. I also dispatch part-time for Spring ISD. I've also worked at Humboldt PD. So we just try to reach out to various agencies because, like I said, there's a need all over across Texas. So we reach out to, and Jessica actually works on that, like trying to get us to, network with the school districts and with other agencies to make them aware, inform them about this program, because many people don't even know that this program exists. Even when I talk about it to people, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know y'all had an academy," but it's fairly new.
School for 911.
Yeah, we started in 2022, but we're growing and we're excited about where it's going.
That is great. Well, Mia, you keep up the good work and help keep people safe. We really appreciate it and the job that you do as an adjunct professor. Thank you so much. Her name is Mia Broussard, and she's an adjunct instructor in HCC's 911 dispatch program. Thank you, Mia.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. And we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to get a student's perspective on HCC's 911 dispatch program. Stay tuned.
When the last bell rings, don't stress about what comes next. At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. From healthcare to tech, or business to the arts. Open the door to HCC Real World Education, where passions become careers. Find more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Welcome back to New World Workforce. Today, we are looking at HCC's 911 dispatch program. Amy Stubblefield is a current student in the program. Welcome, Amy, to the show. Now, I got to ask you, tell us, number one, what made you interested in the 911 program?
I've always been interested in first responding in general. In the previous past, I tried to do my EMT basics to just be a paramedic at some point. But I always known early on I wanted to be first responder. I wanted to help my community, especially being from Houston and just seeing how the city has changed so drastically. I wanted to be a part of that change that helps better the city.
Now, tell us how you learned about the program and the process that you went through to enroll.
So my partner actually, he graduated as a firefighter from HCC, and during his graduation, there actually was a stand for first responders, not first responders, 911 dispatch. And I kind of had it in the back of my mind, and then just a little push here and there from family and friends. And I finally decided to enroll, kind of see what it was. And honestly, the enrollment process was a unique experience. It was not as simple, just enroll, you'll start class on this day. When Jessica sent me the email of the actual list of what we had to do, I said, oh, this is a lot. This is not.
Oh, it's a thing.
it was quite
oh, y'all teaching this. This is a school.
No, and she told me we had to go through a psych evaluation. I said, oh, this is a career that is just not for the faint of heart. This is you're choosing a career path that is just different. It's not how it was in enrolling in EMT school or just enrolling in any basic course. You really have to want this, and just kind of learning the process and Jessica telling us that this is what happens in the real world. This is what, if you go to an agency, this is what they're expecting. So I appreciate them getting us ready for what is to come when we do decide to apply and potentially get hired at an agency.
Great. Now, what did you know about 911 dispatch before you started classes, and how would you say your understanding of the work was changed?
If I'm being quite honest, the only knowledge I had was from a show called 911. It was initially where I thought a person sits in front of a computer and they answer the call and respond how they need to. But after learning what actually happens behind closed doors, you learn that the initial call taker is just the first line of defense. There are so many different puzzle pieces and roles that are so important that go into just this one phone call that no one is more important than the other. So I'm just glad I have the instructors that I have, and this class exists, because if I had just went in with no knowledge, I don't know, I feel like it'd be a whole different ball game. So it is nice to just know what I know now, and I'm able to just help my community.
Yeah, we talked with Mia and Jessica, and they are absolutely awesome. Really love them. Tell us about the instructors in the programs and how beneficial they.
Yeah, I can truly say that they are the reason me and my class will go far. They are people that you can tell love their career. They chose this career path, and not only do they love helping people, but they love to teach. You can tell by the way they teach and the light that they bring to this class and the realness, because it isn't all peaches and rainbows in this kind of career path, but they make it to where you're not going to fail. You're going to succeed. They make the class fun. They let you answer or ask all the questions, and they're there for you. Like Jessica said, she will not stop bothering me until I am in an agency and we are thriving. So I definitely appreciate my instructors, and I couldn't pick any other instructors to teach this course.
They're really wonderful. The fact that, the thing I love about HCC is that when they actually have programs and do these type of things, they actually seek out, people who need those particular services. So trust me, you guys are in really, really good hands. Now, what impact has the program had on your life outside of class? And do you think that that's helped you grow from a personal standpoint?
Yeah, so like Mia was saying, that this career, it has to do with a lot of mental. You have to be mentally prepared for any kind of call that you get, whether it's extreme or just very simple. So even on a regular call, you're learning to remain calm, take control of the call, and just do your best. And in the same way, the real world, I think as people, we kind of forget to just have that same mindset where we need to stay calm, take control of our own life, whatever kind of situation we're going through, and just stay focused on the goal that, we're going to make it out of here. It's going to be okay in the end.
How do you control your emotions? Because I would imagine that this is a job that can spike your emotions because people are calling you and their emotions are all over the place, and you have to remain calm, be diligent, get information from them so you can help them, and then give them advice and give them information to help them on those situations. How do you hold it together, Amy?
I think you just have to tell yourself that they're calling you, they're scared. They're looking for someone to help them, and you are their literal first line of defense. So if you're not in check with yourself, you're not going to be able to help them, and things can go left very quickly. So you just have to remind yourself that they're having the worst day of their life, and you could possibly be the change that they need or the help that they need. And you just have to just breathe. Like I always say, just take a deep breath and just be clear-minded, focus.
Wow. Now, what are your hopes for HCC's program in the coming years? Obviously, you're about to be alumni and there are going to be people behind you. What are your hopes for the coming years?
I really hope that this career that goes so unnoticed grows. I really hope that there is more knowledge behind this course, that the word spreads and that the numbers grow within the students, because again, the instructors are amazing. I'd rather people go through this course because these are people that want to do this. They're not just hopping on and just choosing a career because their mom or dad are pushing them to do something. That this is something that they want to do for themselves and for their community, and that the instructors can continue to just share that love and passion that they have for their career and share it with others. And just hopefully this career itself, this industry, can just grow and have people that genuinely want to do this.
That's awesome. It's one of those jobs that you got to be called to do, huh? You can't just fly, you got to be called to do it, right?
Correct.
Sounds good. Amy, listen, thank you so much. Congratulations in advance. I'm sure you'll do well. And please come back and talk to us when you get a job doing and let us know what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you again for joining us. HCC Eagle, Amy Stubblefield, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if you'd like more information on the people and organizations featured today, check the posts on our social media sites and YouTube. To download a copy of our audio podcast version of the show, visit hccs.edu/podcast. That's hccs.edu/podcast. For everyone here at HCC TV and all the great people that help put this show together, I'm Parrish Murphy. Thank you for joining us on the New World Workforce. We will see you next time.